This sleep story is a retelling of the movie Mean Girls. After being homeschooled by her research zoologist parents in Africa for her entire academic life, Katie Heron moves to Evanston, Illinois, and encounters the most dangerous habitat of them all, public high school. She's quickly befriended by Janice and Damien, two outsiders who give Katie the lowdown on the social order at North Shore High. At the top of the social pyramid are Regina George and her two minions, Gretchen Wieners and Karen Smith, collectively known as the Plastics. When Regina spots Katie getting harassed in the cafeteria, she invites Katie to join the Plastics for lunch. Regina interrogates Katie, and then the Plastics invite Katie to sit with them regularly, which to them is an honor on par with winning the Grammy for Best New Artist. When Katie tells Janice about the Plastics' offer, Janice tells Katie that she has to do it and report back to her and Damien with all of the moronic things that the Plastics say. Janice and Regina have beef, but every time Damien tries to explain what it is, Janice cuts him off. The following day, Katie goes undercover with the Plastics, and they lay down their ground rules for what Katie refers to as girl world, like how often they're allowed to wear their hair in a ponytail. You know, really important stuff. After much goading, Katie relents and tells Gretchen that she thinks Aaron Samuels is cute. Turns out that's Regina's ex, as Gretchen explains, and that means he's off limits. After school, Katie and the Plastics end up at Regina's house, where the Plastics show Katie their burn book, a homemade book that includes an insulting or degrading page dedicated to each girl in their class. Katie is kind of horrified and reports back to Janice and Damien with news of the burn book. Shortly thereafter, Gretchen tells Regina that Katie likes Aaron. Regina gives Katie her blessing to pursue Aaron. Katie starts talking to Aaron more frequently at school, and he invites her to his buddy's Halloween party. Before Katie arrives at the party, Regina tells Aaron that Katie's basically a crazy stalker, and then she comes on to him. They start making out, and Katie sees them, leaving the party in tears, and heads directly to Janice and Damien. Together they hatch a plan to end the reign of Regina. First, they try various forms of physical sabotage, like replacing Regina's face wash with foot cream, but nothing seems to stick. Next, Katie sends a candy cane gram to herself from Regina, so that Gretchen will get insecure when she sees that Regina didn't send her one too. It works. Later at the winter talent show, Regina repeatedly snipes at Gretchen, and Gretchen cracks. Back at school, Gretchen starts spilling Regina's secrets to Katie, including the fact that she's cheating on Aaron with Shane Oman. After Christmas break, Katie, Janice, and Damien do everything they can to help Aaron catch Regina and Shane in the act, but nothing works. Then Katie turns Regina on to Caltine bars, billing them as a carb-busting weight loss snack when really they help you gain weight. In the ensuing weeks, Katie starts failing her calculus assignments on purpose so that Aaron will tutor her. At their first session, they kiss, and it looks like Katie's plan worked. When Aaron quickly reconsiders out of respect for Regina, Katie blurts out that Regina is cheating on him. As the spring fling approaches, Katie, Janice, and Damien continue their revenge plan. They're focused now on severing Regina's hold on Gretchen and Karen. Damien stuffs the spring fling ballot boxes, so Gretchen gets nominated for spring fling queen. While he's at it, he puts Janice in there too. Katie and Regina round out the roster of nominees. After class one day, Miss Norbury stops Katie to tell her she's officially failing calculus and encourages her not to dumb herself down for some guy. Then Norbury calls herself a pusher. Later that afternoon, cheered on by the Plastics, Katie angrily adds in a Miss Norbury page to the burn book, where her being a pusher becomes her being a drug pusher. Katie calls Regina. Gretchen is secretly on the line too, and Gretchen hears Regina say that Gretchen is not pretty enough to be spring fling queen, and that it should really be Karen who's nominated, but she's too much of a slut. Karen gets patched in, and Gretchen tells her what Regina said about her. The next day in the cafeteria, Gretchen and Karen let Regina have it, and Regina storms off. Gretchen and Karen promptly start following Katie around. She's the new queen bee. That weekend, with her parents away, Katie throws a small get-together that turns into a monster party. Her anxiety goes through the roof and she starts drinking. By the time Aaron arrives, she's drunk and makes a fool of herself. Regina busts in just in time to see Katie vomit on Aaron. He leaves and Janice and Damien arrive. Janice had an art show that night that Katie blew off, and Janice is ticked. She tells Katie that she's not pretending to be plastic anymore. She is plastic. Regina stomps back to her car, trailed by Shane, who tells her what Caltine bars really are. That's the final straw. Regina goes home and adds a new page to the burn book, all about herself. The next day at school, Regina shows Mr. Duval the burn book, claiming that Katie, Gretchen, and Karen created it because they're the only girls who aren't in it. Then she throws photocopies of the book's pages all over the hallways. As soon as class is dismissed and her classmates see the pages, they go berserk and start fighting each other in the hallways. Mr. Duval orders all of the junior girls to the gym, and Miss Norbury runs an impromptu mandatory workshop that basically boils down to how not to talk about people behind their backs. Janice tells the entire group about her and Katie's plan to ruin Regina's life, and Regina storms out. Katie follows. In the street in front of the school, Regina lays the verbal smackdown on Katie and promptly gets hit by a bus. Don't worry, she's okay. That night, Katie's parents ground her for failing calculus. The next day at school, rumors fly that Katie shoved Regina in front of the bus. When cops show up in calculus to investigate Miss Norbury's alleged drug dealing, Katie decides to take the blame for the burn book. Shortly thereafter, she aces the calculus test, apologizes to Miss Norbury, and makes up with Aaron. Miss Norbury's not done with her yet, though. To make amends, she forces Katie to join the mathletes. While the spring fling kicks off, the mathletes kick a little numerical butt and win the state championship. Then they go to the spring fling together, with Katie arriving just in time to be crowned spring fling queen. Katie gives a speech that boils down to making fun of other people doesn't make you any funnier, smarter, or more attractive. Aaron finds her on the dance floor afterwards and they share a kiss. A quick look ahead at senior year shows that everyone's getting along, the cliques have been shattered, and there is finally peace in Girl World.